This is an iPad Mini 2, released in 2013. I bought it because I wanted to see if I could still use it in 2025. I wanted to know if it's still possible to browse the web, take photos, or install applications and play some games on this, even though it's a 12-year-old iPad. I've done this similarly with the iPad 2. All I had to do was log into the App Store and look at the Purchase tab and install apps. Heck, I've even done it with the iPhone SE, and it worked just fine in one of my previous videos. But it was a bit of a struggle installing apps on this iPad considering it was running iOS 7. We'll get into that in a minute, but first we gotta take the iPad out of the box. It's been sitting in this box for 12 years. I used this exact model of iPad 12 years ago when I was an LDS missionary for the Mormon Church. We basically did everything on these iPads. So basically this iPad and we have some history, but in today's video we're gonna unbox this and see how usable this iPad is in 2025. Copyright 2013. Oh my, how time flies. I'm curious, guys, how old were you in 2013? Go ahead and comment below. Planned obsolescence. Very funny, Mr. iPad. You're coming with me. Similar to today's iPads, it does come with a charge block. 10 watts to be exact, and wow, this is the first time I've actually seen Apple products with yellowing plastic. Oh, look at that. It also has a manual, and even better than that is a charge cable, which Apple still includes, so good job, Tim Cook. Ooh, look what I found inside the iPad manual is a small one-card iPad mini instruction card. Well, easy enough to start. Turn on the iPad mini by pressing and holding the sleep-wake button for a few seconds. And the iPad, oh man, this thing's so old, it might actually respect your privacy. Ooh, this is the silver model, and I gotta say, it's looking good. I'm sorry, Grandpa iPad, I'm about to bring you into a world of foldables, AI, and war. I should have let you keep sleeping, I'm sorry. Well, it's cool to see that Apple kept on the same form factor for these iPads for a really long time. The 5-megapixel back camera looking as sleek as ever. Now, I did the setup off screen, and as soon as I got to the home screen, it said that iOS 12 is now available for this iPad. And iOS 12 really slows these iPads down, and I'm just not interested in doing that, of course. Plus, you guys hate when I update these old iPads, and I just don't want to have to explain myself, so, yeah. We're not going to update it. So don't worry, I did not have to update the iPad, but I do love the way iOS 7 looks on this iPad. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Now, I did jailbreak the iPad, and that's because I wanted to install some nostalgic applications. There was no using the App Store, so I was pretty much cornered into jailbreaking the tablet, and I actually love it. Now, normally, I would just log into the App Store with my iCloud and look at the Purchase tab, and the Purchase tab would give you options to download the current version for the iPad's apps. But that was impossible to do on this iPad specifically, because the App Store no longer supports iOS 7.1.1, so I had to jailbreak the iPad. This definitely was not the easiest thing for me, because I had to scour a bunch of YouTube videos and use Reddit, but eventually I came across legacy jailbreaks, which definitely helped. In a nutshell, I installed Pangu, and Pangu installed Cydia onto the iPad, which is the application that allows you to do tweaks, customizations, and other things like installing apps. And to be quite honest, I'm not sure if it was all worth it to play the few applications I could get, but yeah, it's jailbroken now and I could play some apps. Now, although it does take some work to get the applications, things like the camera still work on the iPad, of course. I've never been impressed with the camera quality on an iPad. That being said, this iPad is loaded with a 5-megapixel back camera. And you know what? It doesn't look bad at all. Say hello to my iPhone 3GS. And of course, we can't forget Patrick, who's also looking fantastic. Unsure what stuck to his forehead, but yeah. You could also use the iPad as a simple mobile browser because Safari works and the tablet can obviously still connect to Wi-Fi. You could just keep this in your kitchen and use it as like a recipe book pretty much. The best part is because it's a 13-year-old iPad, if you get spaghetti sauce or something else on the screen or even drop this in a freaking sink with water, it doesn't really matter because this thing is old. But that's the only reason you should be using it for that if you already have one of these iPads laying around and it's just sitting in a drawer. Pull that thing out and put it to work. work, baby. Unless you're up for jailbreaking an iPad, which isn't the easiest process if you've never done it before, like me. I just spent a week trying to figure this thing out. Safari browser is as smooth as butter, and it's not a bad option to have this thing in the kitchen or, laying around on a coffee table to read the news in the morning. Another great way to use this old iPad is by connecting it to an Apple wireless keyboard. Because it's Bluetooth enabled, it's super easy to connect, and I don't have a stand for this, but this makes for a great little note-taking machine. It's way faster than typing on screen. It connects to the keyboard just fine, and I'm not saying to go buy this for that purpose, but if you have an old iPad mini laying around, it works great for taking notes. I'm sure if some of you guys go look around your house, you probably have these in a drawer or a box somewhere just collecting dust. Another thing I thought of is you could use this as a dedicated alarm clock. A lot of people have a hard time putting their phones away when they go into bed. This would allow you to put your phone somewhere where you're not tempted to grab it, and then you don't even have to put your phone into airplane mode. You could just use this thing as an alarm clock. You know how I mentioned that I used this when I was a service missionary? These alarm sounds bring back some memories. I know they're still available on my own iPhone, but it's just different listening to them on this iPad. All right, there you go. The alarm is ready to wake me up at 6:30 p.m. So yeah, for the basics, you can definitely still use this iPad if you have one sitting around. And if you guys have any other ideas of how I should use this, please comment below. And if you've enjoyed the video up to this point, feel free to subscribe. Which brings us to the next segment of the video where I'm going to show you guys the applications I was able to download onto this iPad mini 2 running iOS 7. Now, although I'm not going to show you guys every single application I was able to download, I am going to highlight some of my favorites because they have cool history, starting with Subway Surfers. Because this is an iOS 7 iPad, that is the version of this application, and it runs as smooth as butter, baby. Fun fact, in 2012, this app was designed to help market a street art-inspired clothing brand. And this app was the first app on the Google Play Store to hit 1 billion downloads. This game has 150 million active users. But it's still not my favorite. Even higher up on the list is, well, if you've been on the channel for a while, you know how much I love Doodle Jump. Now, this is the iPhone version, but I have it scaled to work on this iPad, and it runs, it's not a demanding game, but it still runs as smooth as butter as well. Fun fact on this one, I never really liked school. So in high school, my senior year, I pretty much took just art classes because those were the classes that I thrived in. When I wasn't fishing, longboarding, or doing artwork, I was playing Doodle Jump. Good thing I grew up a little bit after high school. Hey, and look at that, we got a high score. I guess I still got it in me. All right, let's put our name in here. Ooh, look at that keyboard. I love that. Sure, why not? Let's go with Jinzoid. Now, I did find a way to download YouTube onto this iPad, and I would have been so excited to watch YouTube on this, but I just get an error reading that the version is incompatible with this iPad, and I can't go to Safari and watch YouTube either, so. Now, if you really wanted to figure out how to run YouTube on this, you could through Cydia, but the tweaks are just a little too complicated for my liking, and you will lose some features within YouTube. Ah yes, Temple Run is another one of those games for me that I just hold dear. Now, this is Temple Run 2. It was released in 2013, and I believe in the first 24 to 48 hours, it had like 20 million downloads. This thing was big time. Similar to Doodle Jump, my buddies and I would play this game so much, and I actually played on an iPod Touch. I won the iPod, I think, my freshman or sophomore year for like a track and field raffle competition. I used that iPod Touch until the battery was just absolutely fried. But yeah, Temple Run's a good game. I had a ton of fun making this video, and I had some good shots of nostalgia, which is kind of the goal of a lot of parts of this channel. So if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you learned something, or maybe it encouraged you to go dig up that iPad that's sitting in a drawer, feel free to subscribe, and I really thank you guys for watching this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.